Life in college features a lot of learning opportunities for students both inside and outside of the classroom. Coming up, we'll show you how a one-week-long set of events is helping attendees navigate the world of personal finance.
The Texas Tech community recently took time to celebrate the life of an author who had a huge impact on literature. MCTV Sarah Costanza has a historical look at the life and works of Walt Whitman.
And the Texas Tech soccer team is in Kansas City with hopes of bringing home a conference trophy. MCTV's Brogan Stewart has the latest details on the Red Raiders' progress in the 2019 Big 12 tournament in sports.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Monday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Emily Effren.
And I'm Regan. One of the biggest challenges of being a college student is figuring out a way to have enough money to pay for school.
That's right, Paris. And on top of that, most students still have to live on a limited budget. With these difficulties in mind, one campus group is hosting a series of events to help students learn how to manage their money. Financial Education Week is currently underway here on campus. The week-long set of events is organized by Texas Tech's Red to Black Peer Financial Coaching. Earlier today, Red to Black kicked off the week with the Credit Reports and Cookies event in the Human Sciences building. Starting at 10 a.m., students could stop by to talk to representatives from the Red to Black to learn about the various types of credit reports and how to understand the results. The event also featured free cookies and lots of swag for anyone wanting to stop by. Credit Reports and Cookies wrapped up at 4 p.m. this afternoon, but it was only the first of several events taking place between now and Thursday. Tomorrow, you have a chance to learn about one of the biggest financial issues facing college students during the credit card speed dating event. Attendees will have the chance to talk to different credit cards to learn about each of their good and bad features and pick the best option. Tomorrow's event is scheduled from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the Sub Red Raider Lounge, and it's free and open to all students. For a full list of this year's Financial Education Week events, visit r2b.ttu.edu.
And right across from the street from the Human Sciences, another week-long set of activities got its start today at the Sub during an event of a special group of students here on campus. The Division of Diversity and Equity and Inclusion held its first Gen Week, kicked off just inside the main entrance of the Sub. First Gen Week is an annual set of events held to recognize students here at Tech who are the first members of their family to attend college or university. During today's event, First generation students could stop by and grab I'm a First Gen sticker to show off their Red Raider pride. The First Gen Week kicked off and held from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and it was an official start of a list of events continuing through Friday. Tonight, the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion in coordination with the Teaching and Learning and Professional Development Center are inviting the Texas Tech community out to the second First Gen Week event. The evening with Beverly Daniel Tatum is set to start at 7 p.m. in the Sub Allen Theater. Dr. Tatum is the best-selling author who is coming to Texas Tech to lead a conversation about race on campus and community. Tonight's event is free and open to the public.
Potential Red Raiders had a chance to make a stop on campus last week and learn about one of the university's many departments. Last Friday, the Department of Classical and Modern Languages hosted the 2019 edition of Language and Cultural Day in the CMLL building. There, the event featured a day-long schedule of activities that gave visiting high school students a chance to learn what the department has to offer. At the end of the event, a Dia de los Muertos celebration was held in the Qualia Room in the CMLL basement. The celebration featured several faculty members and students reading written works to commemorate the Day of the Dead. Language and Cultural Day also included another presentation by faculty members along with a culture fair highlighting areas of study offered by the CMLL department.
After breaking the all-time low record temperature for October last week, the South Plains area saw a bit of a rebound in the weather conditions over the weekend.
That's right, Paris. Highs even climbed up to the 80s in some parts of Lubbock yesterday afternoon. But does that mean that the winter weather has been put on hold for the first week of November? MCTV's Madison Hartin joins us in the studio with a look at the forecast. Madison?
Thanks, guys. Well, you are right. It really doesn't feel like November outside over the last couple days, especially considering we got all the way down to 16 on our last day of October. But never fear, that cold fall weather will be back in action in the next couple of days. We're just having a bit of a warm snap at the moment. Speaking of this warm snap, it has brought in a lot of abundant sunshine over the last couple of days. Right now, looking over Urbanowski Park, we can see that there is not a cloud in sight. So I guess the term "suns up, guns up" is not only our motto, it's real right now. Our guns are up and the sun is up right now. Looking into today, our high temperature jumped all the way up to 73 degrees, sunny and warm conditions, and a wind coming from the north at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then for tonight, we're not going to be breaking freezing going into the evening. The low is going to go down to 37 degrees, partly cloudy and cool conditions, and a northeasterly wind at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Looking at the South Plains as a whole, we can see that almost everywhere is experiencing this warm snap right now. Nowhere is experiencing below freezing temperatures at the moment, which is odd considering it's November, but again, it's Lubbock, Texas. The weather is always a little bit weird here, always a little bit unpredictable. Right now, our warmest low temperatures, I should say, are out by Dickens and out to the east of us, off of the Cap Rock area, and our warm temperatures, that's where it's going to be the warmest too. Our high temperatures are going to be jumping all the way up to into the 60s for tomorrow, but that's going to be a little bit different just because we are going to be experiencing some cloud cover for the South Plains, but again, our warmest temperatures should be about to the east of us off of the Cap Rock. Looking into Tuesday, we can see that we're going to be experiencing a little bit of rain coming into the area. For Lubbock metropolitan area, we can see that we're going to be experiencing about half an inch to about an inch of rain, and most of our rain is again going to be out to the east of us. That place is getting all the action right now. Up at Guthrien and Spur with about an inch to an inch and a half of rain, so that's where it's really going to be rainy. And as always, what I say when it rains in Lubbock, it pours and it will flood our road systems. Our roads do not have good drainage, so please, if it is raining, just check the roads before you go out on them. Whenever it rains, that's when we tend to have the worst accidents here in Lubbock, Texas. So just be safe, turn around, don't drown if it looks like there's a big puddle in front of you. Believe me, we don't want anyone out there getting hurt on our roads. And again, the drainage on them is real bad, so even if it stops raining, at least take a couple minutes, at least for the water to at least be able to seep down somewhere else. Not sure where that somewhere else is because again, the drainage is so bad, but you never know. Looking into Tuesday, we can see that the cloud cover is going to be coming back in, but it still will be fairly sunny. 64 is going to be our high for that day, 48, and an east by southeasterly wind coming at 5 to 10 miles per hour. For Wednesday, after that partly cloudy skies comes in, we're going to be experiencing a lot more cloud cover, and that is what is going to be bringing in all that rain I was talking about. 66 is going to be our high for Wednesday, 46 is going to be our low, and a south by southwesterly wind at 10 to 15 miles per hour. 50% chance of rain for Lubbock metropolitan area, and we will be experiencing some thunder in that. For Thursday, again, no thunderstorms that day, just a little bit of rain. 50% chance of rain for the area. High at 50, low of 33, and a north by northeasterly wind at 15 to 25 miles per hour. So by the end of the week, the fall temperatures will be back in action. This warm that we're not experiencing right now is not sadly going to last. I personally like the warm weather. I would have it stay like this forever, but this is Lubbock, Texas, and it is going to get chilly again as the winter conditions go in, and we might be back down to freezing temperatures coming up this weekend, so don't put away your winter coats just yet. I'm Madison Hartin for MCTV. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Madison. Texas Tech's Southwest Collection Special Collections Library is home to a treasure trove of historical items from the local area and beyond.
Included in that collection are many books and other printed and written material that hold a special place in the history of the United States, and several of those rare items made a recent appearance during a special event here on Tech's campus. MTV's Sarah Costanza has the story.
Author and poet Walt Whitman was born in 1819, so the Texas Tech University Library held a celebration for his 200th birthday.
Okay, it depends on the collection. There's special collections that any collection that has of American literature, rare book collection will have Whitman.
Celebrating Walt Whitman was an event at the library's Southwest Collection. Attendees could hear Dr. Ken Price speak about Whitman's outreach to injured Civil War soldiers. They could also hear Bruce Kamek's presentation about the history of Whitman's multi-edition poetry anthology, Leaves of Grass. After the lecture, there was a roundtable discussion.
The 1872 Leaves of Grass, which was printed by a man named Hartin in Britain as if it were a publication in the United States. And so what took place was a number of times when he was both pirated and censored.
Throughout the event, attendees had the opportunity to see several copies of Leaves of Grass dating as far back as 1855. They also could see a handwritten letter that Whitman wrote on behalf of a soldier.
Call me a stickler for this, if you will, but I love when people talk about editions. It brings in a whole different history of passing from hand to hand, what was new, what was added, the evolution of the work through the publisher is what I love.
Students still had the opportunity to explore a text collection of Walt Whitman books through the Southwest Collection's Rare Books Library. For MCTV, I'm Sarah Costanza.
And if you would like to learn more about Tech's Southwest Collection Special Collections Library, visit swco.ttu.edu. The Texas Tech women's soccer team is looking to make history as they continue to play one of their best seasons in recent history.
And the Texas Tech football team is hoping to get back on track during another weekend on the road. MCTV's Brogan Stewart joins us in the studio with a look at those stories and more in sports. Brogan?
Thanks, Emily and Paris. Starting off with soccer, Texas Tech soccer has finished their Big 12 regular season and are already underway in their postseason run in the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City. The Red Raiders entered the tournament as a 2 seed. That meant that they would match up against the Baylor Lady Bears in the first round yesterday afternoon. Sunday's game served as a rematch from last year's Big 12 semifinals in which Baylor beat Tech 2-1. But Tech made sure that the Bears would not repeat last year's success, beating Baylor 1-0. Junior forward Kirsten Davis scored the only goal of the game early on in the 22nd minute, clinching a spot in the Big 12 semifinal round. Tech finished the regular season in second place in the Big 12 with 14 wins overall, which is the most wins in a season since 2013, and six conference wins, which is the highest since 2014. The next game for the Red Raiders at the Big 12 tournament will kick off at 7 on Friday and can be streamed through the Big 12 Now network on ESPN+. Texas Tech football will return to action this week following a bye week as they travel to Morgantown, West Virginia to play the Mountaineers. This matchup will see 2 3-5 teams facing off, with both still holding on to the hope of getting 6 wins and going to a bowl game. Kickoff from Morgantown is set for 11 a.m. on ESPN2. Red Raider basketball returns tomorrow as they officially begin their 2019-2020 campaign following a national runner-up performance last season. The Red Raiders returned 3 players from last year's roster in Davide Moretti, Kyler Edwards, and Avery Benson. Some of the new faces to hit the floor in a Red Raider uniform include 2 graduate transfers, Chris Clark and TJ Holyfield, as well as freshman standouts Jamias Ramsey and Terrence Shannon Jr., among others. The first game of the 2019-2020 season tips off tomorrow at 7 at the USA, but if you can't make it in person, the game can be seen on Fox Sports Southwest Plus. Moving to the NFL, the Houston Texans defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars in London 26-3. Deshaun Watson would throw for 201 yards and 2 touchdowns while also rushing for 37 yards. The Patrick Mahomes-less Kansas City Chiefs outlast the Minnesota Vikings 26-23 with backup quarterback Matt Moore throwing for 271 yards and 1 touchdown. Damian Williams would also help pick up some of the offensive slack with 125 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. The good news for all you Mahomes fans, the hope is that he will be able to return this week against the Tennessee Titans. For Monday Night Football, the Dallas Cowboys will be traveling to face the New York Giants for the second time this season. If the Cowboys are able to pull off the win, then they will be able to keep their lead over the Eagles for the NFC East. That's all for sports. Back to you, Emily and Paris.
Thanks, Brogan. With November underway, most students are already starting to think ahead to the Thanksgiving holiday.
That's very true, Emily, and even though many of us will head home to enjoy the holiday feast with our friends and family, there are many people right here in Lubbock who aren't sure where their next meal will come from. With this in mind, the Student Activities Board officially kicked off this year's Tech to Share food drive last week in the sub. During the food drive, students can drop off non-perishable items that will be donated to the South Plains Food Bank. The food drive features several drop-off days during the month on November 6th, 12th, 20th, and 25th. Students can bring donations to the sub-courtyard between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. Those donations will be weighed in and they will be brought into designated to the court towards towards running total for various tech students, organizations, and departments. At the end of the drive, whichever group made the largest donation will be announced as the winners and get a chance to appear on KCBD TV's You Can Share Food Drive broadcast in December. But if you can't make it to one of those drop-off days, you can also stop by the Student Activities Office in room 020 in the Sub-West basement anytime Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Paris, can you believe that the Thanksgiving holiday is just 3 weeks away?
I cannot. I'm so ready.
Me too. And that's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check out ttuhub.net every day to learn more news. We'll see you on Thursday.